Hi.
Hi.
So today I'm doing my first YouTube questionnaire video. I'm at 40 subscribers. Thank you, everyone. And at 50, I want to have my first guest on, and I want to do a real video. So I figured at 40, I would do a little demo and see how everybody likes it. So this is my beautiful wife of 20 years, Andrea. And we've been together for 25 years. So we're gonna get started. So she really doesn't have, well, I'll let you. So what is your background in fish keeping?
So I did not grow up as a fish keeper.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe we had goldfish in my house once and did not last very long.
Goldfish, yeah, the famous, most abused fish in the market. We get it, yeah. Everybody's had goldfish.
So while growing up, I was a fisher, right? I would go out fishing with my dad,
Mm-hmm.
but we would use the laziest of bait, and it was just very casual fishing.
And what was that bait?
Well, usually hot dogs or bread.
Hot dogs or bread, and
It works.
and it works great, especially for catching hornpout. It works amazing in this lake we go to. Yeah, so my background in fish keeping is when I was 6 years old. I got a 15-gallon from somebody, and I remember the Walmart in my hometown had big tanks in it. You know, they used to sell fish back in the day, and that's when I first saw my red Oscar the first time. And I remember I said, "Dad, I want that." So he ended up buying me 2 Oscars, and naturally they only lasted 6 months in my 15-gallon, but then they lived in a 55, which is still small, but we didn't know back then.
Yeah, I really didn't get into fish keeping until I was with you, and then you got me into it because you have it.
And I have it,
Yeah.
yes, and you benefit from it.
Yeah, I do. It's definitely calming. I don't like it when it's in our bedroom. But
Yes, we don't have one in our bedroom. I try, and I have
He
tried.
tries.
I wanted to do a glow tank, but nope. I wanted to do a little 20-gallon glow tank, but that's okay. I don't want to do. I have 3 tanks right now. 2 are set up. I don't want any more than that because the maintenance is crazy.
Yeah.
So we've had a number of tanks since we've been together. What is your favorite tank that I've built and done?
I think that this one is definitely my favorite, just because it's
in the wall, and
the way that it was built into the wall, the location that we put it when we redid the whole basement space. You know, there's a couple places we could have put it, and I think it makes absolutely the most sense. Every single person that comes over just stands and stares at it
loves
for
it.
so long.
And whose idea was it to put it here?
Oh, it was my idea.
It was your idea. Yes, it was a great idea.
I've had a few ideas with this space that have worked out very, very
great
well.
ideas to put it here. And this tank was a perfect design. This 220 was a perfect design for this little space. If you noticed, I have signatures in my tank. Do you know those signatures that I put in every tank?
I know a few of them.
Yeah.
One of them is the no fishing sign.
Always a no fishing sign. I have 2 more tanks that need one. I found a special one for the 30-gallon, so that'll come eventually.
Yeah, even our nephews have to have them in the tank.
Have to have them
You
in
have
the
to have the
tank.
no fishing sign.
Yep.
And the fishing poles. I mean, they kind of go hand in
Yep.
hand.
Yep. So whose fishing pole is this one?
That one's Kaylee's, our oldest
Kaylee's
daughter.
first fishing pole. That's
And then
now
this one
23.
Behind me.
And that's my beautiful daughter, Gabrielle's. She's 18, about to be 19 this year, and that was her first fishing pole. Even with the little fish it came with. Kaylee caught a huge, massive bass on this pole and broke the pole, and we had to replace it like a year after we got it. But yeah, is there anything else I do?
Yeah. There's the bobber, but I don't see it right now. Oh,
It's in
where
the
is
plants.
It? Oh, is it back in the plants?
Yeah.
So there's always a bobber hanging from the ground.
Yeah.
The other one is the tikis.
The tiki.
So the tiki in
The
the corner
tiki,
there.
yes. He protects the tank.
And then this house is the other
Yep.
one that's like moved with every single tank we've had.
Yeah.
This house, the tikis, the no fishing sign, and the bobber are always there. Sometimes you'll do the glass bottles on the bottom, but like those are the biggest ones that like
Yeah.
I reckon.
And that house over there, you've seen it in some of my videos. It's on TikTok too. That house was the first house I got for my 15 gallon when I was 6 years old. And it's been in every tank and a goldfish pond I did at my old house. It was in there. But now it's glued to a rock because Pesci, I had another Oscar that you saw in the videos unfortunately pass away. They used to tip the house over and it made me mad, so I have it super glued to a big rock so they can't tip it over. What is your favorite scape that I do in tanks?
So something you love to do is put the dark background. I don't know how I feel about it. That's something that I struggle with a lot. I think my favorite is the saltwater that you did with like the reef was kind of cool. Like the way that was set up was really cool. But I like this one in the moonlight.
In the moonlight, yes.
Like when the moonlight kicks on, it just feels like you're literally like somehow under a lake.
Yeah.
And you have your goggles on, you can just like see what's happening with like the moon shining on the water. Like it just is a perfect depiction of that.
I love that too. Yeah. And they love it too. And the cool thing about the moonlight is you can see some species get more active at night. Like these chubs right here, they're really active during the day, but at night they go crazy and they hit the surface, which is why you have to have I have a 55 gallon tank that I cut up and made a cover out of because they'll launch themselves out of the tank. I've had it happen in the past. Yeah, what's your favorite signature that I do? Is it the bobber? I like the bobber because it looks like somebody went fishing and got stuck because I've done that thousands of times.
But the bobber is just sad when it's like that and you can't tell that it's a bobber.
I know, I gotta
because
clean it.
It builds up so much,
algae.
almost like it would if it was underwater, right?
Yeah,
it would still build up similarly.
Yeah.
Like if you were in a lake. But I just hate that you can't see it as much. I feel like the no fishing sign is my favorite just because it's something that we have given as a gift to so many people around us.
Yeah.
That like, if we have it, you have it. Like you have to. And they make sure that they have it in their tanks.
Yeah.
Even when they don't get it from us, they make sure they have
They
it.
make sure they have, no fishing. You know what I mean?
No fishing.
The Severum's here to say hi, and here's Pesci. Hi, Pesci. What's your favorite species that you've seen in the house? We've had golden Severums. We've had, remember the jewel cichlids. We've had Grammies. We've had
I did love the Grammies.
The blue Grammies. They were so cute.
Yeah.
Remember that one that wouldn't die? We lost power during the ice storm.
So
the tank went down
so
to
cold.
50 degrees and we had a blue Grammy that was about 4 inches and that thing didn't die. I felt so bad for it. Yeah.
Awful. I cannot believe that thing survived through that because it was so cold.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite species that we had, I think Oscars are way up there for me because they're so interactive with you.
Yeah.
Like they feel a little bit more like a pet. They'll follow you around.
Yeah.
You walk across
the puppies of the fish world. Yeah.
I also loved your silver dollars.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I think I just liked the way that they like really always stood out in a tank. And especially when there was a lot of them and they'd start schooling together and it was just like a wave of metal going across. Like, I liked that. Yeah,
I like silver dollars, and I think I'm getting some silver dollars from my mom soon. So we're going to get 4 of them eventually. So I think that, I don't know if you have any dream fish, but one of my dream fish is an Asian arowana.
Is that like a sibling to the
arowana? No,
okay.
they're I believe they're from the Amazon, but they're Asian arowanas, but there's arowanas down there too. But we have the Asian arowanas are illegal, I think, here. But the king of DIY, Joey, who I follow, has Asian arowanas, and they're absolutely beautiful. I don't think you'd like them because they look kind of like an eel, and they swim at the surface and they go back and forth. But they're like this big and they're just absolutely gorgeous. There's red, orange, Yeah.
We want to get an eel in this tank so
Oh, I
badly.
want to get a fire
Any way you
eel.
can, and I hate them.
Yes.
Which is crazy because like snakes don't bother me that much. Underwater
Yeah.
snakes, on the other hand.
Or an
That
American
bothers
eel.
me.
I'd love to
But
have.
eels,
Yeah.
they freak me out. I don't want it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
And
Leave
yeah,
them alone.
yeah, and they're good for the substrate. They clean really well. Yeah, but he'd probably end up in my filter and
Yeah.
all my overflow. Do you have a dream tank that you see at all?
I don't think so because I don't think that because I didn't grow up the same way you did. So there's
Yeah.
nothing really that's like a dream tank. I think that's something that like we've tried before. It's something that doesn't really work because of the setup that we have is
Yeah.
like saltwater. Just because I feel like the color of saltwater fish
Is
are
so
so
beautiful.
much more vibrant
Yeah.
and beautiful that I feel like salt's one of those things that like it's kind of the dream to hit to be able to
Yeah.
have a tank like that. But I think we'd have to rethink the tanks that we have to support.
Yes, yeah, the 60-gallon hex didn't work.
No.
My dream tank is to do 125-gallon.
So smaller than this.
Yeah, but it's also it would be only this tall, but it would be I think
Longer?
6 feet long, and I would do it half full with minnows or maybe chubs and a snapping turtle. Like do a turtle bog tank and have fish in it, but with a turtle would be the main, or a bullfrog again in 125-gallon.
Not a bullfrog.
Or a couple of them. Oh yeah, a nice
Gigantor? Was that his name?
Yeah, Jagunda. Yes,
There it
yes,
is.
yes. I did a bullfrog when I was a late teenager, and it got the size of a dinner plate. And
And
it
what
was.
sounds would it make really late at
Oh
night?
yeah. Oh, real late at night.
Can't do that.
It was a beast. It was a cool pet, and you'd be surprised what they eat. I found out the hard way how cannibalistic and ravenous they really are for food. How many times have you seen water on the floor during water changes of our tanks?
We're just talking about during water changes?
During water
And,
changes.
Wait, on the floor or on you?
On both. Both. On me or on the floor.
I mean, I feel like every single time something small happens,
Yeah.
if we're talking about the bigger ones, I mean, at least once or twice a year to like.
Yeah, there's a
something
big
happens.
flood, like, and 10 gallons is a lot of water. And the surface of this tank, where I have my overflow, if this tank overflows, it's about 3.5 gallons of the overflow that comes out. And 3.5 gallons actually goes pretty far in your basement if you've ever had a little flood. It's kind of crazy. I've had 10 gallons before, like almost 2 vacuums full. So that's how I know it was about 10 gallons that I've had in here, which is why the bottom of this whole setup, this whole wall and the stand that the tank is on is all pressure treated with sill seal between the pressure treated and the concrete floor, and it is bolted down to the concrete so it doesn't move. Now we've been together again 20 years. How
25.
many? 25. I mean, yes, married 20. How many times have I done an oops where I have added a fish to a tank, and the other fish decides that fish is food, either fish or animal?
It's happened before. It
Yes.
happens a lot of the times when we find random bugs.
Bugs.
And you like to, say there's a stink bug crawling around the house or something.
Yeah,
His favorite thing to do is grab it and come bring it to the tank to see if they'll eat it.
yeah.
Which, it's kind of mean, but,
It's funny. The chubs.
then again, the dog would try to eat the stink bug. And
Yeah,
then
the chubs will go up to the surface and smash a bug if they see it. They're very aggressive. Yeah, you can see right now they're rubbing against each other. They're either mating right now or they're mad. I can't tell.
One of them was down in the sand earlier, so.
Yeah, so I think we have some spawning going on. Jim at Jungle Gym Aquatics.
I like him.
We might, yeah, I love him too. We
I
might.
said like. You said love.
Yeah, I love him. We might have some babies in here. You know, little trade polar parrots for some chubs. I mean, you know. Anyway, yeah. So my fuck around and find out moment is I put a huge crayfish in this tank.
I forgot
Huge,
about the crayfish.
remember?
Yes.
I mean, this thing was a massive. It had blue claws. I found it in the local pond, and I said, "This guy's coming home." I didn't see him for 6 months. I thought he died, and then one day I saw my Oscar swimming around with claws sticking out of his mouth, and I went, "Well, that's where that crayfish went." So that Oscar must have been hunting the crayfish for 6 months. And then one time I tried to put a bullhead in the tank. It was a little smaller than the Oscar, but don't be surprised at how big of a fish that these guys can fit in their mouths, because it was really big.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. Yeah. I think that was my biggest. One of my regrettable mistakes is I had got a sailfin pleco. Remember, it was absolutely beautiful. It got 12 inches and really fat.
Remind me, because I don't remember.
It was the
one.
pleco that died in the corner.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he passed away in the corner, and I saw him up there for about 2 days. Went to test my tank, and I lost 12 fish overnight due to an ammonia spike.
That was the worst.
That was the worst. I cried. I had a big red-shouldered severum. I had a bunch of fish in there that all just boomed. 8 silver dollars. I mean, it was just crazy. So if you think that, you know, you've had fish for 30 years and you're not going to make a mistake, we all still make mistakes. And now I test my water 2 times a week, Wednesdays and Sundays, do water changes every other Sunday. And I will never have a pleco in my tank again because they're just too dirty, and they don't eat enough. You know, they really got to start eating a lot of. They don't just eat algae, obviously. Even you can feed them, and I was feeding him, and he didn't eat enough. And do you have any funny stories of me setting up a tank?
I think it just makes me laugh every time that you want to put a plant in the tank.
Oh my God, that was my funny story. That was my funny story. Yes, the plants. Oh my God. Every time I try to put real plants in a tank, they destroy it. It's so ridiculous. I fought for years silver dollars, remember? Mm-hmm. And I even put in 5-gallon buckets worth of native milfoil that we have here in New England. It grows so bad, like it's so invasive, and they destroyed it within 3 days. It was just stems sticking up, and they had these big fat bellies because obviously they're plant eaters. And then some guy sold me an Anubis plant because he said silver dollars. Remember that? They won't eat Anubis. Yeah. And then it looked like those South American ants, the cutter ants, were eating the plants because they were just eating the crap out of it. And then I have wisteria. I tried planting it, and they just rip it up and they go crazy. This is the one that does it. I've caught him doing it many times.
I also feel like you get soaked every time you go to add a plant.
Oh, yeah.
Because you try to get your hand down there. Your hand cannot reach down there, but you still try to get your hand as far down as you can. And it doesn't fit fully.
I have to bring the ladder, and I have to crawl with my waist up there in order to get to this. To get the Patron bottle in there, I had to crawl up. To seal the tank, I had to climb in the tank and stick my head out because the fumes were so strong. But that was how I had to reseal the whole tank. I was sitting in the tank to reseal it. So yeah, I think that's it. I hope this goes well. I'm really nervous, so I'm sure I made mistakes. Hopefully, people are easy on me, and I think this is gonna go good. And we're
You know,
gonna.
at the start of this, you didn't even. You said my first guest will be in the future, but like, what am I then?
Oh, you are my first guest. Yeah, I was gonna do a video at 50, but I couldn't wait.
Maybe I just don't count as a guest. Maybe
You
like my
always
first
count.
video.
You count because you allow this stuff to happen. Not allow, but you know what
Allow.
I mean. You help me make my dreams happen. So that's what's good about it. Is we kind of do this together. I do all the work, and she gets to sit here and
Enjoy the benefits.
enjoy the benefits, which I'm okay with. I hope everybody has a good day. Thanks for watching, and like and subscribe, and thank you so much.